And he said that he thought that by now, the governor should have resigned. Take a look at that video quickly. We'll come back and have this conversation.
Policy as subordinate to fiscal policy. What have we done? What we have done essentially, and it's not just this regime, we are a bit concerned about what happened now because of proportionality, right? In terms of magnitude, what happened in 2022 is an outlier. It will take us more than 3 decades.
You mean?
Right? You know, Ghanaians have no idea where we are and where we are heading towards. And if we don't ask for the right leader, you know, in all of these things, because leadership first failed. Okay, and Ghana's problem is not economics. The textbook, there's nothing wrong with the textbook. We can contextualize the knowledge. Our problem is largely governance. It is the governance failures that is manifesting explicitly in economic mismanagement, financial improprieties, procurement breaches, and the rest of them. It's the governance. If the problem is largely governance, the solution cannot be financial or economic.
It has to be governance.
It must be governance. We have to reform. Look, Ghanaians, TUC, the rest of them, look, we can restructure our bonds on a weekly basis. If we don't solve the governance issue, we will come back to this table. What is happening right now, if you look at it carefully, what is happening is that since 1992, you see the governance cost rising. Okay, and today it's far better for you to join politics and break even than to be in private sector or in pure public service. That inequality is not good. Now, so you see everybody, people are using their business to do politics. Okay? People are willing to sacrifice for their political party than. Okay, so the governance cost, governance reforms, which also require revision to the constitution and the rest of them, is very important, because what has happened to Bank of Ghana, it could have happened to anyone who was there. Okay.
They could have anyone who was at that point in the central bank.
Look, let me tell you
could have been done differently.
The optimal thing for the governor of Bank of Ghana was to have resigned long ago.
Absolutely. The governor should have resigned long ago.
You've waited too long.
Absolutely.
And that would have sent the right signal. You know, when you said that call the minority, majority, and the rest of them, you want to come to the table and say there has to be some trade-offs. We'll do some printing, but on condition that you're also going to do ABC.
Exactly.
Look, in Côte d'Ivoire, in April 2002, the president of Côte d'Ivoire took a decision to reduce the number of ministers from 41 to 32.
Well, so that's Professor Bokpin, and he was a member or a panelist of yesterday's business forum where we're discussing the, shortfalls of the Bank of Ghana leading to the declaration of losses. And he says that with everything that's happening, the governor should have resigned long ago. In fact, Mr. Kwame Pianim, a renowned economist, had said earlier that he expected that the governor should have even called the chairman of the finance committee in parliament, and some members of the finance committee had a private meeting with them to let them know, even ahead of printing some money to support the economy. He should have informed them, because that would have sort of calmed down nerves to a large extent. What do they make of this? And of course, the NDC now is saying that they're giving the governor 21 days to resign. Nanepia,
yes, dear.
What do you make of this? And of course, 21 days to resign, he was put there constitutionally. If he has to be taken out, we need to go through the same process. Why do you want to go and picket at the Bank of Ghana and say that if he doesn't resign after 21 days, you use every other means?
The same way he was put there constitutionally, that's the same way he had the Bank of Ghana Act to guide him to do his work. So, if you have been put there and you have been given guidelines to direct you on how to do your work, and you don't do your work, we will demonstrate and go there and picket and make sure he's sacked. Now, Bella, this Bank of Ghana issue is more serious than we think. You see, all of us here have banks. Now, our banker's bank is the Bank of Ghana. And the government of this country is the sole shareholder of the Bank of Ghana. When we were in power, Bella, under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we managed this economy so well that the Bank of Ghana recorded so much profit. You see, the Bank of Ghana recorded $700 million profit and the rest. And then they managed the Bank of Ghana so well that we were even able to build the bank hospital at Cantonment. And so today, all bankers go to the bank hospital.
The public.
The public. Everybody can go to the bank hospital. Have you been there before? It's so beautiful.
It's mini UGMC.
I'm telling you, so sweet a place. That is what we did. Now, when MPP took over, Bella, they managed to use their tactics to clear off all those that were at the top and brought their own people to manage the bank. Fast forward, what have they done with the Bank of Ghana? They have ended up recording serious losses, printing money, done things shoddily, and about to collapse the Bank of Ghana as well. Were we not in this country when MPP government collapsed so many banks? Those banks were declared insolvent. That was why they were collapsed. Now, what are we saying the Bank of Ghana is now?
They said if they hadn't done that, then the effects would have been even more dire. So there was a need to shut down those banks.
That tells the ordinary Ghanaian that what the NDC has been saying all this while is actually the truth.
Which is what?
Which is the fact that this government, this Aban government, Ghana, this MPP government under Akufo-Addo and Bawumia has messed up the country by over-borrowing, over-expenditure. They've just done so many unnecessary expenditure, and then the money crumple that they have made in this country, Bella, we are not even able to tell what they are using the money for. Yesterday, I was on the same platform with Rabbi, and I asked Rabbi, give me 3 achievements of this MPP government. It was like we needed to fight on set.
How?
Let me tell you, the monies this government has made, Bella, it is so much so that it's pathetic to think that even children don't have desks, children don't have seats. Caterers are not being paid. Our old ladies are on the streets picketing. Yesterday, an old lady of 80 years called me, that Nana, do you know what? I used to be an ex-staff of Bank of Ghana. Today, I have gone to collect all my money. And I said, oh, auntie, why? She said, because of the we are all afraid. Now, the pensioners of Bank of Ghana are now going there to collect all their monies from the bank. That is how serious this MPP government has brought this economy. Now, let me tell you the reason the NDC is upset. Bella, in 2021, the Bank of Ghana printed 35 billion cedis for this government. Now, in the Bank of Ghana Act, Bella, it says that at 30, mandates the Bank of Ghana to come to the aid of the government when they are in need. So it's okay. Now, what it is not okay is that there is a clause that says that before you exceed 5% of your previous year's revenue, you need to seek approval from Parliament. Now, this is where we are upset. You went ahead to print more than 5% of your previous year revenue to this government without parliamentary approval. Now, 35,000 billion cedis they printed for this government. Bella, their previous year revenue was 55 billion cedis. 55 billion cedis. 5% of 55 billion cedis. Bella, is it 35 billion cedis? Is it 35? It's supposed to be by like 2.8 billion. They didn't even print like 5 billion, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They have gone to 35 billion in 2021. Listen, in 2022, they printed 45 billion cedis. Hey, MPP, 45 billion cedis. Meanwhile, their previous year, total revenue for the previous year, Bella, was 76 billion cedis. 5% of 76 billion cedis. Is it 45 billion cedis?
So they misquoted or they underquoted. Nanaya.
Bella, I'm not done. I am not done on this matter.
Time. We have to.
Bella, let me finish. The most annoying one is what they brought here.
Okay.
They said they have used 131.6 million cedis for motor maintenance, vehicle maintenance. Bella, vehicle maintenance simply means change oil, do this, do that, do that on a vehicle. Now, if I stand to be corrected, I know the Bank of Ghana has only 3 buildings in this country: Makola, City House, and Sprinters. How many are their staff that they can use 131.6 million cedis on car maintenance? Aden. Why? They claim they have used 97.4 million cedis, foreign and domestic travels. What that means is that they traveled to Kumasi, they traveled to Tamale, they were traveling around the whole country. What for? They were supposed to sit in
trips
their,
as well.
Can you imagine? They were supposed to sit in their offices and do their work. They were traveling all about the place for what exactly? Even if it was due to work. How come they spent 97.4 billion?
Let me bring
now the list
in.
goes on and on and
Yes,
on. And
we've
we,
seen
the
that
NDC,
list.
we are so upset about that. And therefore, 21 days from our press conference, we are going to the Bank of Ghana to stay there and make sure he resigns.
Nanaya, is that even possible? Like I said, the Constitution does not go this way. But at the same time, government was told about this years ago. Because if you listen about where we were headed, and they did say, the economists said it. In fact, they said that as at the last quarter of 2021, we knew that we were headed in the trenches. And government was warned about this. They didn't listen, and now we are here.
Kwampiani warned them.
Yes. Professor Bokwin warned them. In fact, the economists all warned them about it. And
So
they did absolutely
who
nothing.
manages the economy? Who manages the economy?
We have an economic waste.
Fine. Who manages the economy? Who gave instructions for money to be printed? Who gave instructions? That's the Bank of Ghana is supposed to print 5% of the annual revenue of the government, and he overprints. Who gives us instructions? Who will tell the Bank of Ghana that I have a shortfall in revenue, show up for me? That is where the crux of the matter is. Yes, the Bank of Ghana is independent, but in the scheme of things, who do they report to? Do you get me?
So the issue is not the governor.
There's somebody who is there that every person in this nation has said that enough, go and sit home. That his own people in his own party have said that we don't want you.
That's the finance minister.
That is exactly the point. Because if you have somebody managing this economy, and a vice president who is the chairman of the economic management team, if you have somebody managing the economy properly, being prudent, making sure that everything is okay, you don't need to have a shortfall. Do you get me? And even if you have a shortfall, you'll be within the threshold of the 5% where the Bank of Ghana can show you up. Do you get me? This same person in Parliament, there was a committee that was set to look into his matters. And what happened? The same committee made up of parliamentarians, including the leader of the NDC, who at that time the ranking for finance, they approved him on the vetting committee. Are you telling me that unless somebody tells me, and I do not know, maybe this morning I am not listening, that the Bank of Ghana can take decisions on their own without recourse to anybody?
But they are an independent institution, or so we think.
Yes, that is what I am saying. I'm saying that they should come out and tell us that they take decisions without recourse to anybody. They can just decide to see the trajectory of the economy and say that we are printing money over and above what the law allows us to do.
But they should have that power, because back in the day, under former President Kufuor, the governor then, he was able to resist interference to a large extent.
That is what it is.
So then the problem is with the governor
so
as much as it is with the finance minister, no?
So I am saying that why are you leaving one out?
So then the two should be bundled together.
The two should come together.
Okay.
Do you get me? Why are you leaving one out? Because the independence of that institution does not stand in a vacuum. It stands within an economic circulation of whatever we do. So why are you leaving one out? Did you get me? Why are you leaving one out? If you want the two of them should go. The process of them leaving is a different matter. But you see, whatever was done, the press conference, they should have dichotomized the two issues. There's an issue where there should be a forensic audit in administrative expenses. Do you get me? Like what Nana was talking about. Repairing of cars, computers, communication expenses, 32 million. That is a forensic audit matter. To find out, to verify that you spend almost 400 and something million on inspection. Your inspectorate banking inspection. Do you get me? That one is a forensic audit matter to ascertain how many cars were repaired, over which period, over 1 year, which areas, what kind of cars, what parts were bought. Communication, what do you mean by communication? So those aspects should be investigated separately from the losses. The losses is almost $6 billion, and the government is asking IMF to give them $3 billion.
Yeah. So we actually have the money here.
Yes, we are coming here. Because $6 billion, if you translate that money into dollars, and I always do that because of IMF, it is about $6 billion, about double the IMF money we are asking for over a period of 3 years. And this loss was over a period of, I don't know, maybe a year or so.
Yes.
Do you get 60 point something billion is about $6 billion dollars?
Yeah.
Do you understand me? So I am saying that the issue has, okay, who used the money? Where did the money go to?
Well, they gave us a list of what the money was used for.
No, that's not what that one. Those ones. That one is the administrative aspect.
Okay.
The losses, the money that was printed. Who was it printed for? Bella, was it me and you? It was for a government to spend. And how did that happen?
Without going to Parliament.
Without going to Parliament. Who allowed it that you shouldn't go to Parliament?
Hajia, so why didn't you listen to the economists, and why have you brought us to this point? Meanwhile, constantly we've been told that we should tighten our belts, we should sacrifice. And here we were sacrificing, and we're still in the trenches at this point.
Bella, before I even come to that, I want to remind Nanekia that in 2017, we inherited a declined GDP of 3.4% and have been able to manage it to an average of 7% GDP. This shouldn't be underestimated. When we say the economy has taken the turn or the corner, it's absolutely true.
Mr. Kwame Penny said we're not even on the road to even go on the corner.
Look, it depends on his perspective. I think
this is a respected economist.
I'm not disrespecting.
One of the founders.
I'm not disagreeing.
Of your party.
He is. But how he says it might be different from how we say it. We are telling you that, look, we have taken a strong corner. And look, trust me, Bella, movement is movement. It would have been worrisome if we were static. Inflation has taken a downturn, you know. You know, Bella. 4 consecutive months. 4 months, like down. That is not even the case we are talking about at this point. Now, the issue of this Bank of Ghana, the losses we have made. Ordinarily, I shouldn't be speaking to technical issues of this kind. I should have just left it to the technical people. But I wish to comment on it for 3 reasons. One, a citizen that really cares for the welfare of our country, the patriotic person I am. 2, for the fact that I have engaged people who are quite neutral but experts in this area, who have taken time to explain what exactly is going on to me. And the 3rd reason being the usual propaganda and mischief mongering the NDC would do. If we remain mute on this and say we are leaving it to the technical people, then they would come and just throw dust as usual. Look, the issue is simple. When you look at the losses being made, leading to negative equity, for a bank that is conventionally implementing with a small stated capital like our central bank today, we certainly should expect that if losses are made, this kind of shaking or the negative equity issues should be coming up. That is very true.
But the losses
however,
we haven't seen this before.
I am coming, Bella. However, look, I strongly believe it's as a result of Bank of Ghana's painful decisions that they have taken in the past.
And not the interference of government.
That is also coming to bring them to this point. Look, let's not forget, yes, they were able to save 20 million Ghana cedi in the restructuring, clearing and all that. But I think that painful decision would have caused them very well, leading to this impact.
I see.
Secondly, Bella.
My time is up.
No, you're talking about.
Give me
So
1
the
minute. I need to
secondly,
hold on.
look, Bella.
I can't.
Bella,
I can't. My
Bella,
producer is counting me down. You let her speak.
Let me land.
No,
You had.
please,
Please don't take
I
all
gave
my
you
time. You had your
I gave you time,
Look, the
please.
critical issue I am even looking at this point is about solvency and the losses being made. Look, these are two different things. And I'll give you a scenario. Nanaya has 300,000 Ghana cedis. Then with a 10,000 cedi capital, that is her, what is it? Her startup. Then she goes to make procurements of her goods, comes to make a sales of 285,000 cedis. Now, the 15,000 losses or the loss she would have made being added to her initial 10,000 would have made her record a negative 5,000, which is a loss. However, the loss doesn't make her business insolvent because she would have been having still 285,000 to be running her business, and that is about cash flow.
So you have some money that's still running.
When you have cash flow, liquidity, having ongoing your activities, and that is why, look, this rush is not helping me. That is why the Bank of Ghana would always tell you that, look, we know that we are on top of the issues. We have made losses, all right, but it's true that we will be able to meet our obligations, and that's what we are doing.
All right.
This is about cash flow. This is about difference between solvency and the losses being made, and that's why I just kept smiling or giggling over the pranks and jokes they came to give us as press
Thank you so much. You don't think that they can take the governor
They need to get serious.
Okay, Julie Belinda Obri says everything is falling apart. Africa vibes. After making our own banks fearful enough for us to save and invest, these people think they can keep their money in their homes. Oh God. Mahindra says, meanwhile, there's a law regarding the percentage that is to be printed. Okay, so Haruna says that, Bella, the problem is the budget of 2022. It had a huge deficit financing, and because we could not go to the capital markets, we couldn't, but we had to rely on the Bank of Ghana. Let me quickly read this message from Mr. Kwame Agboja, and then we will call it a day. So he says that the $250 million cost of the new BOG headquarters opposite Rage Hospital can pay more than half of the Cocoa Road contractors. The $250 million cost of the hospital, well, the new headquarters opposite Rage can build at least 3,500 CHIPS compounds. It is equivalent to 3,750 new 6-unit classroom blocks. Also, it is more than the capital expenditure allocation to Ministry of Roads and Highways and Ministry of Transport put together. Are earthquakes responsible for the 60 billion Ghana cedis loss? I hope the new head office is also designed to cure the suffering. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. We have to go. We're being taken off. We'll be back with more cash out. Play.
So if they want
we'll be
to
back.
build a new head office, they should go to Stadium because Accra here.
Jackpot of the week. Place bets and hit the jackpot. Log into the 1xBet account. Click on the Take Part button. Place bet and take part in the jackpot draw.
Give your luck